G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing on this fine, well, it's an evening I guess now, 6 PM. I've just hopped out of work, I'm heading home. I've taken a nice different route there because I feel like it. Petrol is $2.30, I'm trying to find a petrol station that's nice and cheap because 98 premium be expensive. I think about $2.55 for 98 at most stations right now, which is outrageous for a litre. Oh well, it is the world we live in right now, and I cry about it. What's been happening, ladies and gents? How's the wife, how's the kids and all the others? How's the pets? Why not? If you have any reason to come say g'day, mate, you can always hop in the Discord as well. I will have a link in said description to join the Discord. There's been a lot more people joining lately, and I've been rather happy about it. Oh, that was quite a bump that I was not ready for. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I do have a lovely idea for a video today, and I think it will benefit a lot of you new boys and girls that are watching YouTube because you either haven't got a bike yet or you're too young and you're thinking about getting a bike. And that is how we decide on what bike to buy. All right, how do you know and how do you pick a good beginner bike for yourself? Now, straight out the bat, obviously the first bike you should buy is a Gixxer 1000 or an R1. Leader bikes are easy to ride, definitely not fast, slow bikes, and obviously I'm being sarcastic. Now, definitely picking a bike that isn't too outrageous in the power band is definitely going to be something you'd probably be interested in, doing to start with, because I don't know about you guys, but too much power when you're not used to it and you hit a whiskey throttle, you're probably going to fall off and have a upsetty spaghetti day, you know what I'm saying? So, the first part about the process is really thinking about what kind of riding you are interested in. If you want to go more like sporty riding, if you like just commuting, or if you like going for like cruises and whatnot. Now don't get me wrong, every bike theoretically can handle every scenario, but there are obviously some are better than others. Like a cruiser bike is not great for sporty riding, and a sports bike is not great for cruiser riding, So a big piece of that puzzle is just initially figuring out what kind of commuting or riding you are going to be doing. If it's just weekend spirited riding, or if it's commuting around to work, or if it's just cruising around with the boys to nice places. These are the things you've got to figure out nice and early. Secondly, of course, is figuring out what kind of bike you actually do enjoy the look of, because man, you might not like cruiser bikes, you might not like sports bikes. It's just the way it is. Now, I, for one, didn't like sports bikes when I started riding bikes, and that only became a thing later on. So, you've really got to sort of find your niche and then pick it, man, because if you don't have anything in mind, well, you can sort of do what I do, where I just went with the bit more nippy cruiser. So, the Honda Rebel as a choice was probably one of the best things I did, because the Honda Rebel is got that little bit of lean as opposed to most cruisers. But, you want to have something that fits your needs, man. Because any bike can do it, but if you're riding 100 kilometers a day or something and you're on a super sports bike like an R7, you might find it's a wee bit uncomfortable for you, because they're not really known for their superior comfort and whatnot, because they're just not made for such things, okay? So once you got that out of the way, then you got to find out what kind of configuration in the engine you like. Now this one is a bit more of a, say, optional. You don't really need to do it. You can choose not to, which is fine. You don't have to pick different kinds of engines. Like my engine configuration is arguably one of the more boring ones, which is just a flat plain inline 2. Now if you go for, say, the MT-07, then you get the cross plane inline 2, and then all of a sudden it sounds very, very sexy. Whereas my exhaust, it sounds nice, but it gets it gets a bit boring over times. You get your V-twins as well, so if you can afford, say, your SV650s, or you want to get your, what else do they make? You can get your cruisers, so like your Yamaha V-Stars or your Viragos. Man, there's a whole bunch of different things. Now, then you get into the CBR650s, which are inline 4s. It depends on what you want. If you want a nice, pumpy, characteristically engine, you get your twins usually. They're more fun. You want to have a nice top end, but little, less torquiness, then you get your CBR 650s or your old school 400, about 250s or whatnot, the old 4 cylinders. Because then you get the noise of the old 4 cylinders, which are just sexy in and of itself. You can't deny the sound of a beautiful 4-cylinder engine. And then once you've decided all those factors, man, then the time is to go shopping. Now, you can either buy a brand new bike. I did. Now, look, I wouldn't recommend you buy a brand new bike for your first bike. if it's pushing the budget, it can get a little bit expensive, which is completely fine, but why not? Why not look into some second-hand bikes? Now, you can get a bike second-hand from a dealership, or you can get a bike second-hand from your local marketplace, Facebook, or if you have bike sales. I don't know if bike sales is a worldwide thing, or whatever sells bikes, okay? Go and look at them first. Don't just pick one willy-nilly. Like, I sort of did that, alright, and it worked out just fine for me, but I'm not going to say that's going to work in every case, because it's just not. Go to one of these dealerships and then perhaps sit on some of these bikes, so at least you have an idea of the seating position. And don't just sit on it for 2 seconds. Oh, thanks, man. I got a nice raindrop from that one. Washed his windows and I got a sprinkle. Don't just sit on it for 2 seconds. Sit on it for a little bit, like give it a few minutes. So, and I mean in the proper position that you'd be riding in most of the time. Because if you sit on an R7 and then you just go, oh, this is nice. But then if you sit on it for like 5-10 minutes, you might be like, my wrists feel this one a bit more now. Oh, I don't quite like that. Or you sit on a naked bike and you go, you know what, I don't really like this upright position. I kind of want to be a bit more in the bike, you know, planted, leaning forward and whatnot. Because, well, all bikes, they're different. They give you different preferences and different positions, different ways of riding, man. I am quickly going to, oh, you know what, I'm not going to go there, it's too busy. I need to fill up my bike and it is going to get very expensive. I hope that this place that I'm going will be cheaper, but I don't think it is. Oh well. But man, point being is, go and sit on them, feel what you like, because you might find you love an R7. Like, I don't really like sport bike positions. I enjoy riding them, but I've never owned one or sat on one like long enough to really say that I want to buy one. Because I've only really ridden sports bikes in 10 to 15 minute stints and they get uncomfortable, even in that. So I can imagine owning one and commuting it like I do, putting 21,000 Ks on a bike in less than 3 years. That's a lot of riding sports bikes if you're doing that. So it can be quite uncomfortable and, you know, perhaps not the most fantastic use of wrist power, because you might get sore wrists, sore back, sore this, that and the other, because guess what? Riding sports bikes aren't known to be comfortable. But ladies and gentlemen, once you've then looked around all your bikes and really sat on a few and tried them out and whatnot, then, and only then, is it finally time to pull the trigger. If you're still not confident, just watch a whole bunch of YouTube on what your favourite bike is or what isn't, and then, yeah, it's a lot easier to decipher than the old-fashioned way. Research is a beautiful thing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that if you haven't got a bike, you do your due diligence and don't just buy the cheapest thing on the market. Like, you might love Groms, but I tell you what, unless you're commuting in small places constantly, Groms get, you know, a little underpowered very quickly, man. They're made for tight places. Don't get me wrong, I froth Groms, and honestly I would buy an R15M if I could, because R15Ms are a meme and a half. They're so sexy for how weak they are, and they don't deserve to be. But once you've done your research, go out and buy your bike. If you're in the Discord, post it in there if you've picked up your new whips. I know there's been 1 or 2 blokes in there that have posted their bikes that they've just recently got, so hop, come over. I can't speak English, it's one of those days. Come on over, say g'day, talk about your bike, and we'll finish up at our old Park of Justice that we love so dearly. Ugh, if I can see through this car's windows. Anyway, we always love cars that block the whole road. Oh baby, I tell you what, I smell smoke. The lovely, lovely Australian bushfire smell. Okay, we'll head up here, call it a day. There's a car just parked in the middle of the road. Fantastic. Good job, Melissa. Ugh. These speed bumps suck. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, they're still doing works here. The old classic porta potty. Ooh, they've got the road open. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've done your due diligence and your research. Pick up yourself a new bike. Let me know what you've got and how you went with it. But until that time comes, I do hope you take it easy, keep it cheesy, and as always, have a wonderful day. Peace. Bye.